Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
Well, I know what I was going to do. I'm not responding to tweets. Stop it. But, by the way, calling up now and offering me radio jobs, I don't want a radio job.
No thanks.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm not Imus in the morning. I'm not doing it. Anyway, how did a person wanted to know, several people wanted to know, when I started calling the program Imus in the morning. And when I was at Palmdale, which was the first station I worked at, KJOY, I got that. I was working for the railroad, and I got the job and all that. And my first day was June 1st, 1968, which was Saturday. And the program director who hired me when he was on the air listening to my audition tape in queue said that, I think it was a Thursday or Friday, said, can you be here tomorrow morning? I said, yeah.
Damn right.
So then, so I did that first Saturday morning. And then I don't think I did it until the next weekend. And then he says, hey, the morning guy wrote a bunch of hot checks, and so he's not here anymore. Can you do mornings? I said, yeah, I guess. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. But the program director, who I'm not going to give his real name because he wouldn't want me to. He was a guy who had been in an experimental LSD program in Canada. And so he was taking had been taking massive experimental doses of LSD, and so did we. So, and he says, we can't use our real names on the air. And I said, why? And I forget what he said, but we just can't do it. So he called himself Dr. Seuss, and I called myself Captain Don. And I remember for some reason, I ran for Congress, and that first time I wasn't in radio 2 months, and I ran for Congress against Barry Goldwater Jr. And I don't know where I had bumper stickers. I don't know where I got the money. But it was put Don Imus on the gravy train, because I was making $87 a week net, and people in Congress were making $42.5 at that time. So I got a significant number of write-in votes. I couldn't actually get on the ballot, So then this guy comes through town, listening to the radio, and he was program director at a station in Stockton, California. And he said, hey, would you like to come up here and do mornings for like twice the money? But it was a much bigger market, too. So I said, oh, yeah, I can do that. So he said, but you can't call yourself Captain Don. We don't want that. And I have no idea where it came from, but this was early 1969. It just popped into my head, Imus in the morning. Well, that's where that originated.
Wow.
And so every morning show on the planet now calls themselves. It took a while for it to catch on, but now every mouth-breathing morning moron on the planet
it's like a given
calls
now.
themselves so-and-so in the morning. But that's where it originated, back there in, I believe, the fall of '69, there at KJOY in Stockton, California, where I got fired, by the way. But then I got a bigger job, the next thing you know,
That's how it
here I
goes.
am.
One window opens, you jump out.
And then well, there's one little brief note. I was going to wait to tell Sid this, but since I had never thought about any of these things, but I started thinking about it. And I went to WGAR in Cleveland. And WGAR was owned by the Nationwide Insurance Company. And Jack Thayer, the great Jack Thayer, took me there. And John Lund, He's a great programming genius. He was with us in Sacramento. He was a salesman. But this dude had so many kind of brilliant ideas about programming music. And that's what I was doing then. I was just a flat-out rock and roll disc jockey. And great. That was great. And I grew up listening to people like Herman Griffith and Hunter Hancock and Marvelous Molecule and those great black disc jockeys at KGFJ in Los Angeles. Those guys that would talk a record, they would, like I used to play Try to Find Another Man, the Righteous Brothers, right, and talk all the way through it, and I can still do it. So take a great R&B record and talk all the way through it, talk to it, let it talk to you, So anyway, we went to Cleveland, and we made that bitch number one in 63 days. Wow. And so I was thinking, I was there on September 21st, 1970. You know what that was?
What's that, boss?
That was the first Monday Night Football.
Oh.
You know where Monday Night Football was that night?
Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
How do you like that?
And I was there, I remember, in the studio. I just got off the air at 10 o'clock. And in comes walking Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, and Don Meredith.
Whoa.
And they wanted to use the studio to record some stuff. And that was a big deal, except nobody thought that Monday Night Football was going to amount to anything. It was the New York Jets playing the Cleveland Browns. And so I met them there, and, of course, later became good friends with Cosell. He used to go to hockey games and dinner with him and all this stuff. I remember once asking him if he remembered that. He just, I can't remember. His response was pretty funny, but how preposterous it was that he would remember meeting me. He thought it was more appropriate, and he's right, that I remember meeting him.
Let's get this the other way around, Donald.
The Browns won 31-21, I believe it was.
The Super Bowl winning champion Jets at the time,
Yeah,
right?
because that's Namath, right? Yeah.
And Namath threw an interception for a pick six to seal the victory for the Browns. So, but who would be? But I hadn't remembered that until I got to thinking about it. Looked at the date. I said, "Where were you, man?" Anyway, speaking of sports, 21 after the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Here is Guns now because Sid is ill with. Sid likes those stories more than you guys do.
Mm-hmm. I like the flashbacks. Flashbacks are cool.
Not bad.
I'm not feeling any love.
That was a good one.
All about, you've been tweeting out photos, or somebody has. It's been fun to see. It's been cool.
Well, I haven't been tweeting out anything.
Somebody.
No,
there's one of
not
you in
me.
there's one of you in a basketball net that I saw the other day.
Well, those were all ads they ran at NBC.
Did he have clothes on?
One of the reasons we did so well there is they spent a fortune advertising.
Yeah.
So,
any pictures of the I-Man on top of the flagpole at Rockefeller Center cutting down the Russian flag?
Well, I wasn't the one who actually took it down. What happened was I threatened to take it down, so I had a producer working for me at the time. I think Lyndon Abel was his name. He was named after Lyndon Johnson because his mother had been a secretary for President Johnson. Anyway, we went out. I don't know if you remember Rockefeller Center or not. You must.
Of course.
Out there where the plaza is, well, there used to be you could park cars there because we parked a limo there, And so they had guards there, and they had all the flags. So we went out there, and I distracted the guard with some phony story and got him to talking to me with his back toward the flags.
Come here,
and while I was talking to him, Lyndon got up and got the flag down. And I still have the flag.
Oh, wow.
And I sold, I raised money for something, for the victims of the crash, and had people sign it. Well, I had a calligrapher sign it.
For people who don't remember, the Russians had shot down a Korean jet with
Yes.
civilians on it, and it was a major international outrage at the time.
And they were screaming at me to give the flag back, and I wouldn't do it. Well, they threatened to fire me and all things. Bring it on, bitch.
That's a great story.
That's
That
awesome.
was a great story. That was fun. So, no, but I mean, the guard never knew what the door, it was like a doorman guard, never had any idea what happened. It seems like, and I'm watching Lyndon all the time while I'm sitting there while I'm standing there talking to him.
This is awesome.
And that fool doesn't turn around. He turns around. We're dead.
Get a lot of hiney with that guard uniform, bro.
So anyway, 24 after that. Well, we don't have time for
No time.
sports. We'll do it in a minute, though.
You got it.
Relax.
Here is the great Vince Gill. Man, I cannot begin to tell you how much I love this record. And you think about it. You think about this record and Vince and your baby.
Look at us. Imus. Imus.